Do you ever wonder what gives your favorite pair of headphones that punchy bass or detailed clarity that you love? Whether you're a newbie, a music lover, or an audiophile, let's talk about the drivers of your headphones, as the driver is the largest dictator of the sound quality. Now, before I dive into the meat and potatoes of headphone drivers, let's touch base on what a driver is. A driver is the most essential part of your headphone. It creates the sound that audiophiles hear and love. Drivers transform electrical signals into audible sound waves that are pushed or driven, if you will, into your ears. A pair of headphones will typically feature one driver per ear cup. Most people are familiar with the three most common driver types: dynamic, planar magnetic, and electrostatic. We'll also mention ribbon drivers. Not to be forgotten are balanced armature drivers and bone conduction drivers, which are exclusively used in IEMs and something that we'll save for another video. So let's get into it. Dynamic drivers are the most common and least expensive type of driver. Able to cover the entire frequency range, they're known for great bass response in your music. So how do dynamic drivers work? Here I've got an example of a dynamic driver. Dynamic drivers include a tiny, stiff, cone-shaped diaphragm connected to a coil of copper wire around a magnet, which magnetizes the coil. When an electrical signal moves through it, the coil creates a magnetic field that causes it to move back and forth, causing the diaphragm to move as well, displacing air around it and producing sound. The large amount of air displacement is what gives dynamic drivers that good bass response. The bass can be punchy, fast, and dynamic. EDM and hip hop in particular are complemented well by dynamic drivers. This driver specifically is featured in the Focal Utopia headphones. So, what are the pros and cons of dynamic drivers? Well, the downside to dynamic drivers is that because not all parts of the diaphragm move at the same time, a series of events occurs that can cause distortion or loss of resolution, especially at high volumes. Since dynamic drivers are the most common and affordable driver type on the market, it's no surprise that you'll find them in the cheapest headphones and even some of the most expensive. And the sound quality of the driver itself matches the price tag. For instance, dynamic drivers in high-end headphones use a frameless coil, so the moving piece is much lighter and able to react faster to the signal it's given. Since there's no column that the voice coil fits around, it reduces the overall mass. Now let's get into planar magnetic drivers. Similar to dynamic drivers, planar magnetic drivers produce sound using magnetic fields. Instead of coils though, planar magnetic drivers use a flat, thin diaphragm with wires embedded in it. The diaphragm in a planar magnetic driver is nestled between two arrays of evenly spaced magnets. An electric current travels through the magnetic field, causing the driver to move, thus producing sound. So instead of a coil moving the diaphragm, it's the magnets. What are the pros and cons of planar magnetic drivers? Well, planar magnetic headphones are known for their deep bass response. This is due to a large amount of air that goes through the driver thanks to its large surface area and powerful magnetic force. A benefit to these drivers is that sound vibrations are evenly distributed across the diaphragm, creating minimum distortion. You can expect planar magnetic drivers to produce a clear, articulate, and lifelike sound with excellent bass. Planar magnetic drivers bring out the detail and clarity in genres like classical, blues, and jazz, as well as songs that are vocal-centric. They can be easy to drive, but they perform best with added power. Take these right here. The HiFiMan HE1000, for example. These are not as hard to drive as the Susvara, but they can really benefit from more power. They will greatly excel in performance the more amplification you can use with them. Given the need for additional power, we recommend pairing your headphones with a digital audio player or DAP like the Estelle & Kern Con Max for portable use. Next up, we've got electrostatic drivers. Of the three most common driver types, electrostatic drivers are the most expensive type to manufacture. So, how do electrostatic drivers work? Unlike dynamic and planar magnetic drivers that operate through the principle of electromagnetism, electrostatic drivers work on the principle of static electricity. Here I've got an example of an electrostatic driver. In an electrostatic driver, they contain a thin, nearly weightless diaphragm suspended between two metal plates called stators. The metal plates are perforated to allow airflow. An electric field is created when a sound signal is applied to the plates. That electric field draws and repels the diaphragm to and from the plates, causing vibrations that push air through the perforations. This, coupled with the continuously charged electrical signal driving the diaphragm, produces sound waves. What are the pros and cons of electrostatic drivers? Well, electrostatic drivers are known for supplying excellent detail and treble extension in a wide frequency response. You can expect fast, detailed, transparent, distortion-free sound. These drivers drivers are great for genres like acoustic, Americana, and jazz, as well as any genre where you want great detail retrieval. Electrostatic headphones must be used with an appropriate electrostatic amplifier or energizer to operate. Not only does this raise the price, since they need accompanying hardware most of the time, but it could count them out for portable use. There are a few other portable options, but this electrostatic driver I showed you earlier is actually used in the Warwick Acoustics Apereo electrostatic headphones. You can actually see the driver through the grills. Lastly on our list of driver types are ribbon drivers. This driver type is less common and also used in traditional loudspeakers. Here at Moon Audio, we carry the CA1A ear-field monitor by Raw Requisite. These are not your ordinary pair of headphones, and like electrostatic, require a special converter box or a dedicated ribbon amplifier to drive them. They require much more power and have a very low impedance that is difficult to control. With the CA1A, you're getting a speaker-like sound from something you wear on your head that weighs less than a pound. These headphones feature highly specialized ribbon drivers that have a frequency range of 30 Hz to 30 kHz in order to eliminate the need for sealed chambered bass and allow for open air baffles for a true full frequency sound field. So, how do ribbon drivers work? Ribbon drivers feature an ultra-thin, flexible aluminum diaphragm called the ribbon that is suspended between two powerful magnets. Special amplification is required for ribbon drivers. Power from the amplifier is applied across the ribbon, which develops a magnetic field. This field opposes and attracts the magnet and drives the ribbon evenly over its whole surface. The ribbon moves, pressurizes the air around it, and these sound waves are driven to our ears as music. Ribbon drivers are highly responsive, detailed, and dynamic. Headphone ribbon drivers don't need an enclosure to provide lower bass frequencies. In the case of Raw's other ribbon headphone, the SR1B, you can angle the drivers to give you more or less bass response that you desire. Genres like classic rock, jazz, R&B, and folk pair well with ribbon drivers. This model will provide an even more speaker-like performance. So, what are the pros and cons of ribbon drivers? Well, unfortunately, these drivers are not portable and don't offer any noise isolation. With that being said, we don't recommend them to someone who's looking for a pair of headphones to travel with. These headphones are great for a relaxed, at-home listening session. Understanding headphone driver types is just one of the stepping stones on the journey to becoming an audiophile. Being able to identify which driver type you'd like in your next pair of headphones can help you make the most informed buying decision. As always, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you don't miss any of our latest videos. If you have any questions, feel free to drop us a comment below, and thank you for watching.